Swim like a fish. Another excellent low-impact sport that almost anyone can take up is swimming. Swimming is a great exercise that puts minimal stress on your body while working all of the major muscle groups throughout your whole body. Because the weight of your body is always fully supported by the water while you are swimming, it is an exercise form that has literally no impact on your joints, so it is pretty much ideal for anyone. It is a sport that requires only the most basic of equipment, a swimming costume, obviously, plus goggles to improve your underwater vision and protect your eyes. Some people also prefer to use earplugs while swimming, especially those who are susceptible to ear infections, although this is not strictly necessary. Swimming is a superb all-round aerobic exercise, as it works every muscle in your body. The more swimming strokes, e.g. breaststroke, backstroke, etc., you know, the more benefit you will get from swimming. This is because the different actions called for by each stroke naturally call upon different muscle groups for their successful application. To get the full benefits of swimming you need to be able to swim, but it is never too late to start learning. Most local swimming pools offer lessons for everyone from the youngest babies right up to adults, so it should not be too difficult to find a place where you can learn, and do not be embarrassed about joining the class. You will certainly not be alone, although, if you are the type who might be shy about this kind of thing, then it should be possible to receive private tuition. Make an effort to set aside a time every week when you can go swimming, and go with friends or, even better, your kids, as this will increase the fun of what you are doing considerably. The more fun it is, the less it will seem like real exercise. As always, start off slowly, because even though swimming is the gentlest of sports in terms of the negative shock impact that it will have on your body, there is none, it is still strenuous. Your heart will be getting a serious workout when you are swimming, although you will probably be unaware of the fact, so do not try to do too much too quickly. Once you have the basics in place, you can at least swim, then in order to get the maximum benefits from your newfound ability, you should consider putting some kind of plan in place. 18 Otherwise, it is far too easy to get into a rut, doing the same number of lengths of the pool every day, and that might become tedious pretty quickly. When it does, you might start to lose interest, go to the pool less and less, and it is not long before you stop going completely. And then you are back to square one, not taking any exercise. Here is an outline plan for getting the maximum exercise benefits from swimming. This plan will seriously increase your fitness levels over 2 4-week periods. Each of these 4 weeks is made up of 3 weeks of active swim training followed by 1 week of recovery and relaxation. If that immediately sounds scary or worrying, do not be alarmed. This is not a program for those who are planning to become Olympic-class swimmers. However, it is designed to be a program that will bring noticeable increases in fitness levels as quickly as possible, so, if that is the primary objective of taking exercise, then this is ideal for you. The basics of this plan are essentially the same however many times you will be swimming, as are the objectives. What you are going to do is build up your fitness levels while learning better swimming techniques, so that you swim more efficiently. This is important, because getting stronger while continuing to apply poor technique is not really going to help you. While the primary objective is to get fitter through exercise, improving your swimming abilities and skills is also a focal point of this plan. In practical terms, technique and fitness go hand in hand, in that you cannot maximize one without having some focus on the other. On the other hand, it is pretty well impossible to focus on both at the same time, and that can lead to frustration and a feeling that you are not improving or getting anywhere. So, this program mixes both swimming skills development and exercise, but not at the same time. It is a training plan that is primarily focused on satisfying your general need to improve overall fitness levels, but it is still a training plan that is supremely adaptable. In other words, if your long-term objective or goal goes beyond merely getting a little fitter, then you can modify this plan to suit your specific requirements. For example, if you are looking for nothing more than a good aerobic workout, then this plan will work for you pretty much as it is, as running through the plan just once will noticeably increase your fitness levels. If you then want to take your fitness to the next level, simply repeat the program, and keep doing so until you reach the point where you are happy 19 with your condition. It is then just a case of maintaining that condition with regular swim sessions. Here is how it works. This is a systematic plan, so you need to have a pencil and paper to write things down. There are also some calculations needed, so a calculator might be handy as well. Alternatively, write everything on your computer in a Word document, and use the inbuilt calculator too. In the first week of 4, each workout session should be 45 minutes in length. Of these, spend the first 9 minutes warming up with some gentle stretching poolside, followed by some moderately paced swimming. Spend the next 9 minutes focusing on your swimming technique, followed by 22 minutes of your Maran fitness training period. In this period, swim fast for 30 seconds, followed by 30 seconds at medium pace, another fast 30 and then 30 seconds of rest. This is repeated until the period is up. Finally, there is a 5-minute cool-down period of gentle swimming. Over the next 3 weeks, increase the Maran fitness training period by between 5 and 10% per week. This is not at the expense of any of the other sessions, so your total pool time should increase over the weeks. Decide how many swimming sessions you can realistically fit in per week, and stick to that plan. Be as consistent as you can, so if you do 5 sessions in the first week, try to do the same or as near as you can every week. Also, try to increase your Maran training period time every session if possible. If, for example, you are planning a total increase over the week of 10% and you have 5 sessions penciled in, start with a 5% increase, then 6% next session, 7% the next, and so on. Even at the end of the total 8-week cycle, you should not be swimming any more than 75 minutes per session in total, and I would not recommend that you increase the main training by any more than 10% in any given week. A target increase of between 5 and 10 minutes per week of Maran training is a good goal. Make sure that you complete every section of each workout session, and be sure to rest for up to a minute between each section of the session. In each section of your training sessions, do everything as many times as you can, so that none of your training time is wasted. Remember that this plan is based on 3 weeks of active training, followed by a week of rest, then another 3 weeks of training and a week of rest. Make sure that when you start every new 3-week training period, you do so from the point that you finish the last 3-week program. If, for instance, you finished your last 3-week stint with a main training 20 program time of 40 minutes, that is the point that you begin from. You do not go right back to the start again, and, of course, this is still subject to the maximum of 75 minutes per session in total. This program will undoubtedly improve your fitness levels, simply because you are working out so regularly. In terms of technique, however, improvements may not be quite as easy to recognize by yourself, so it is a good idea to request the help of others who can give you an unbiased assessment of how much you have improved, and what you still need to do in technical terms. If you have a friend who is a strong swimmer, or perhaps someone who is a recognized expert such as a lifeguard, they would be a good person to ask for help. Failing that, your local pool may have a swimming coach attached, and if that is that case, you could perhaps book a few sessions of professional training as a way of identifying and then ironing out any technical flaws or weak spots. Remember that the idea of improving your technique is not to make you an international class swimmer. However, without good technique you will not get the maximum benefits in terms of fitness either, so do not neglect the technical side of swimming. 21 Skip to be fit. Skipping is another excellent form of aerobic exercise that you can do literally anytime, anywhere. It helps to improve both your heart and lungs, as well as improving your flexibility, coordination, and of course your fitness. Skipping may at first seem like it will be an easy option, but you might find that it can be a lot tougher than you think if you decide to keep skipping for any length of time. Remember that boxers use skipping as an integral part of their training programs between matches, and they are not generally known for doing things the easy way, so that you should tell you how effective skipping is as a form of exercise workout. Skipping also represents a pretty high-intensity workout, as indicated by the fact that 20 minutes of skipping will burn off 250 kilocalories of energy. It is great for helping to shape and tone the lower part of the body, especially the calves, hips, thighs and bottom. In fact, skipping is directly comparable to jogging at 12 km per hour in terms of the energy that is burned, but because it is an activity that carries a lower impact level than running, it is far gentler on the joints and is less likely to cause injury than pounding the sidewalks or using a running machine. Nevertheless, skipping does obviously entail jumping up and down, and there is therefore some impact to be considered. Some basic sensible precautions are accordingly necessary. For example, you should make sure that you have a rope that is of the right length for your height. In order to test this, stand on rope at the middle point and lift the handles at either end. If the rope is the right length, then the point where rope and handles join should be on a level with your armpits. If it is too short, then you need a longer rope. If, however, it is too long, all you need to do is artificially shorten it by tying knots in the rope as near to the handles as you can manage. This is a particularly good idea if more than one person will use the same rope. When you are skipping, you can also reduce the potentially adverse effects of the landing impact by wearing cushioned soled shoes, and trying to skip on surfaces that have some give in them. For example, skipping on a wooden floor that has some flex in it will be better than skipping on a tiled floor or concrete. 22. For most of us, the last time we skipped was probably a good many years ago, so, in case you have forgotten, here are the basics of how to skip for maximum exercise benefits. Stand upright but relax while doing so, and try to breathe normally. Keep your elbows level with your waist, but your arms should be extended sideways at an angle of approximately 90 degrees to the body. You need to perfect a circular wrist motion in order to turn the skipping rope. Hold the rope handles loosely, and use your thumbs and index fingers as a means of controlling the rope. Jump from the balls of your feet and try to cushion your landing, which should be back on the balls of your feet, by flexing your knees. This is not the Olympic high jump competition. You only need to jump high enough to allow the rope to pass beneath your feet. If you can do this successfully, then making around 60 turns per minute, i.e. 1 per second, should be an achievable starting target. It will take a bit of practice, but once you have mastered these basics, then you might want to start doing a few tricks and skipping stunts, both as a way of making your session a little bit more interesting and also to show off your newfound talents. Believe it or not, according to the International Rope Skipping Federation's website, there are over 100 single rope tricks that you can learn, including such favorites as the double bounce, the skier, and the bell. Skipping is a very simple but extremely effective form of exercise that anyone can do anywhere. Do not underestimate its benefits just because you have not hopped over a rope once since the day you left school. 23. Stretching, bending and toning. So far, all of the exercise formats that we have considered have been focused on the aerobic side of taking exercise, doing activities that will burn off energy while working your heart and lungs that little bit harder. However, not all exercise is necessarily aerobic, as there are many exercises that focus more on toning and shaping the body, while increasing such things as flexibility and suppleness. Such exercises are no less beneficial than the aerobic workouts that we have looked at so far, and you might be surprised just how many ways it is possible to practice these exercises without making too much of an obvious effort. Let us start looking at some of these exercises now. 24. Yoga. There is another book in this series that deals with every aspect of yoga in far greater detail. However, as an overview, yoga has been practiced throughout the world for some 5,000 years, and is an active workout that is essentially made up of a combination of positions, postures and poses. Taken together, these will improve your bodily strength and flexibility while serving to decrease stress levels at the same time by calming the inner you. Although for the purposes of this book we are focusing on yoga as a form of exercise, yoga is, in fact, much more than that. It is a complete way of life, one that brings together man's spirit, mind and body in a unified system of beliefs and actions. There are several types or branches of yoga, with the exercises that we are going to look at known as asana being part of the yogic branch called hatha yoga, meaning forced yoga, which is especially popular in the West. Yogic exercises are made up of many asana, and they all have varying degrees of difficulty in physical terms. However, the physical degree of difficulty is only part of the story, because many yogic poses are focused less on the physical nature of the pose in question, and far more on the spiritual aspect. For example, the pose or position that would appear to be the least demanding from a physical point of view is the shavasana or corpse pose. This needs the student to lie still on their back, hands by the side. In physical terms it could not be easier, but the point is that what is really being attempted is to make the whole body and mind totally still and relaxed. Without that total stillness, the shavasana is not actually complete, according to yogic thinking. While keeping your body completely still may not be that difficult, doing the same with your mind is far harder, to the extent that many people would find it all but impossible. To attempt the shavasana is therefore extremely easy, but to achieve it properly is definitely not so. At the other end of the scale of physical difficulty is the vrishchikasana or scorpion pose, as illustrated on the next page. Achieving this successfully is obviously difficult for anyone who is not extremely fit, strong and flexible, and this pose therefore demonstrates why yoga is such a great form of exercise. 25. Of course, this is an extremely demanding pose, one that you would probably not recommend to your grandmother without a great deal of practice, if at all. On the other hand, there are a great number of asana and not all of them are as difficult as becoming a scorpion. Even these easier poses are beneficial, and each one represents a tremendous way of increasing your bodily flexibility and suppleness through exercise. For instance, the benefits of adopting the Ardha Chandra asana, the half-moon pose, are principally felt in the lower back, chest and abdomen. While the Trikona asana, the triangle pose, is great for stimulating blood flow throughout the body, especially to the head. It also assists your general physical condition by stretching and relaxing your shoulders, back, arms and legs, so the benefits are tremendous in comparison to the amount of effort and energy being expended. You can see a full list and diagrams of all the asana in action. Here the bottom line is that yoga is great exercise, but it can quickly become a way of life that will help you on both a physical and a mental level, so try it. 26 unusual exercises you've never thought of. As suggested earlier, focusing on toning your body is every bit as important as burning off energy through aerobic exercise. There are, however, various parts of the body that most of us never really consider as needing exercise. The whole of your body needs exercise if the various parts of you are going to remain in tip-top condition. In this section, I am going to look at some of the most often neglected bodily parts, and how you can exercise them utilizing simple, straightforward everyday activities. Exercising your face. Your face is almost certainly a part of your body that you have never considered exercising. But it does need it, especially as you want to open up your features, remove the lines from your skin and give yourself a clearer and younger looking expression. Exercising your face is all about using the facial muscles that you use the least in your everyday life, because this strengthens these muscles and therefore your face becomes more flexible and expressive. Before starting these exercises, you should take a good, long look at yourself in the mirror to decide which exercises you should focus on personally. If, for example, you are by nature a frowner, then do not bother with the frowning exercise. Instead, focus on smiling or winking, for example. Here are 4 extremely easy and painless facial exercises that you can start putting into practice right now. Smiling. To paraphrase a line from Casablanca, you know how to smile, don't ya? If not, here is how you do so to gain maximum exercise benefit from smiling. With your head in an upright but relaxed pose, clench your cheeks upwards while drawing your lips wide over your teeth at the same time. Hold the position for a few seconds, then relax and repeat the process. Do this 15 to 20 times per session, and try to do it at least once every day. Try smiling at other people more often as well. You might be surprised how much better it makes you feel spiritually, and the responses that you get will more than likely justify making the small effort involved. 27. Frowning. In this exercise, you start with your head upright but relaxed, only this time you tense up the muscles in your forehead and draw your eyebrows down by doing so. Hold the resultant frown for a few seconds and then release, and do the exercise 15 to 20 times per session. This is an exercise that you should only do in moderation, as overusing these muscles by doing this exercise too regularly or often can lead to the development of unwanted facial lines and wrinkles. Winking. With your head in the, by now, traditional upright and relaxed position, turn your head slightly to one side so that one eye is pushed slightly forward. Close the more prominent eye, and hold it closed for a second or two. Open the eye again, and repeat the operation 15 to 20 times with the same eye. Then, turn your head the other way so that the opposite eye is to the fore, and repeat the whole process with that eye. Once again, you probably do not want to overdo this particular exercise, as doing so can lead to the formation or acceleration of the fine creases and wrinkles at the corners of the eyes that are commonly known as laughter lines. Also, I would recommend that this is an exercise that you do in a private place, because doing this in public or with people that you do not know around you might give them completely the wrong idea. Tongue pulling. This is an exercise that you should only do in private or with people that you know. While winking at strangers could get you a lot of unwanted attention, this one is far more likely to get you a smack in the face or a punch on the nose, so do be careful where and when you choose to practice this exercise. Start from the relaxed but upright head position and purse your lips slightly. Then, push your tongue out of your mouth, yes, exactly like you used to do when you were a kid, and then retract it. Assuming that you do not regularly go around pulling your tongue out at people, this is an action that the muscles at the back of your tongue will rarely undertake. While your tongue is used to moving up and down and from side to side inside your mouth while you're eating or talking, this pushing back to front is using the muscles in a way to which they are not accustomed. Repeat this exercise 15 to 20 times per session. Feet and leg exercises. If you have traveled on a long-distance flight in recent times, you will probably be aware that many of the major airlines are now showing Safety 28 videos that emphasize the importance of moving your feet and legs during the flight. This is to counteract the increased risk of suffering a deep vein thrombosis that spending several hours in a pressurized cabin can bring on. In a similar manner, more and more people spend the vast majority of their working day sitting down, and they are therefore not using their legs as much as they should be doing. They will sometimes visit the restroom and perhaps walk outside the office to grab some lunch, so they are not totally idle, but they are almost certainly not using the muscles in their legs and lower back as much as they should. Just like the videos that you see on the planes, I am going to show you several ways that you can make your muscles work even while sitting down. Crossing legs. This exercise is exactly what it sounds like it would be, but just like the safety videos on the plane suggest, even moving your legs and feet around while sitting down can stimulate blood flow and muscle activity in your legs. So, it is simply a question of sitting down in your chair, relaxing and then crossing one leg up and over the top of the other. Hold that final position for less than a second. In this case, it is the action and movement that is important, not the final position, and then unwind back to the original relaxed position. Do the same thing 15 to 20 times and then repeat the actions for the other leg. Swinging. This exercise is almost an extension of the crossing motion that we used in the last one. After the legs have been crossed, you should swing the foot that is on top forwards and then backwards again in a pendulum-like motion. This makes the muscles at the back of your legs contract and expand in the effort to elevate your foot, and this stimulates the muscles and increases the blood flow in your legs. As always, repeat 15 to 20 times for each leg, and do try not to do this in an environment where you might risk kicking others while taking your exercise. The swivel. This one is easy, but effective for keeping your calves and ankles, in particular, in good shape. It can also be done sitting in your chair or on the floor at home, with your legs stretched straight out in front of you. All you need to do is swivel your feet at the ankles so that the toes of both feet point at each other, and then swivel back again so that your heels do the same. Repeat this as many times as you like, at least 20-29 would be good, and use this exercise whenever you have been seated for long periods as a means of refreshing your legs. Tip, tap. Even the simple act of tapping your toes on the ground will keep your feet, ankles and lower legs active and ensure that your muscles are stimulated so that the blood flow in your lower legs is encouraged. Whether you are wearing shoes in the office or sat at home barefooted, simply lift the toes of your left foot off the ground and tap them back down again 2 or 3 times. Rest for a moment. You shouldn't need long, as this is hardly strenuous, and then repeat. Do this 15 to 20 times with the same foot, and then repeat the exercise with the opposite foot. This is an exercise that is best done to music. Back and buttock exercises. Shift and lift. This is an exercise that you can do to strengthen the muscles of your lower back and buttocks, in particular, while sitting down. This is therefore something that you can do even while you are at work, although given the nature of the lifting element of the exercise, I would not really recommend that you do this while talking to others in your office, for example. It might make them think there is something wrong with you. Nevertheless, this is a great exercise for reducing any stiffness or soreness that might result from sitting in the same position for an extended period of time, and it strengthens those muscles too. While you are in your chair, relax and then clench the muscle in one buttock and hold for a couple of seconds, lifting slightly as you do so. Relax and then repeat. Do this 15 to 20 times for each buttock. Hip sway. This is great exercise to do if you are standing for any length of time, as it relieves the tension in your legs and stimulates the blood flow throughout the whole of your lower body. It also helps to avoid getting the pain in the lower back that afflicts some people if they are forced to stand for any length of time. While standing upright, let your right knee relax and soften, while at the same time pushing your left hip out to the side. Pull the hip back in again, and repeat the same action 15 to 20 times. After that, allow your left knee to bend and relax, and force your right hip out in the same manner. Lifting. Grab a bag, a supermarket plastic bag, or anything else that has suitable handles for lifting will do the trick. Put something of weight in the bag. Again, it is fairly irrelevant exactly what it is, as long as it weighs at least a few kilos. Water bottles are ideal for this, because you know that a liter bottle weighs almost exactly a kilo. Keeping your arms straight down by your side, bend at the knees until you can reach the bag on the floor and then lift it by straightening your knees up. Lift until your legs are once again straight, hold the lifted position for a few seconds, and then return the bag to the floor by bending at the knees once again. Repeat 15 times on the one side of your body, and then repeat on the opposite side. When done correctly, that is, by bending at the knees and not from your back, this exercise is excellent for strengthening the lower back, buttocks and hips, but it will also help to keep your arms and thighs in great shape. Give us a shrug. This is an exercise that not only helps keep your lower back strong, but is also an effective way of releasing the tension that can build up in your shoulders and neck. It will help to keep your arms and shoulder muscles toned and in trim at the same time. It can also be done in either a standing or a sitting position. Wherever you are, simply lift your shoulders up towards your ears in a classic shrugging motion, then lift your forearms up to a position where they are parallel to the floor and turn your palms outwards. Finally, tilt your head to one side, and twist your head slightly from the neck, then hold that final position for a few seconds. Return to the beginning and do the whole thing again, but this time, tilt your head to the opposite side before twisting. 31 Conclusion. Very few people are entirely unaware of the fact that exercise is good for them. The problem is that, for many people, even when they know this, the idea of having to join a gym and really putting themselves through the physical grinder in an effort to get themselves fit is totally unappealing. So, they chose to ignore that fact that their bodily condition is deteriorating and get on with their life in exactly the same way as they did before, unless some event comes along to make them change. The point that I hope you now appreciate after reading this book is that it is not necessary to wait until you have to start doing exercise before you take any action. There are literally dozens of opportunities to work some part of your body every day of your life, and all you need to do in order to start exercising is recognize these opportunities. Nor should exercise automatically equate with desperately hard work, drudgery and pain. As you have seen, simple activities such as walking and climbing stairs can be integrated into your daily life quickly and almost seamlessly, but the benefits of both of these activities can be enormous. The bottom line is, there really is no excuse not to start exercising right now, and everything that you need to know in order to do so is contained in this book. There is no better time to start taking regular exercise than this very second, so get your shoes on, go out for a nice long walk, and take the time to think about all of other ways that you are going to make exercise an integral part of your life from now on.